Hey, this is Alex, one of the co-founders and chief strategy officer at Rarible.
And this is Jana Bertram, head of strategy at the Rari Foundation, the architects behind the Rari Chain that we worked on together with the RARI DAO and partnered with Rarible NFT marketplace to bring the market.
You're just tuned into the edge of NFT, your passport to the thrilling corners of the blockchain.
Just keep listening.
Hey Web3 curious listeners, stay tuned for today's episode to learn why this pioneer in the NFT space evolved over the past 3 years to make their marketplace more inclusive to emerging artists and a more creator-centric platform, and why preserving royalties was an essential piece to launching their mainnet. And finally, why our guest wants to purchase a country to turn into a digital nomad paradise where you can have an official digital passport. It's another great show for the Edge, so sit tight and cue the intro.
Welcome to The Edge of NFT, the podcast that brings you the top 1% of Web3 today and what will stand the test of time. We explore the nuts and bolts of the business side and also the human element of how Web3 is changing the way we interact with the things we love. This podcast is for the dreamers, disruptors, and doers who are pumped about this ecosystem and driving where it goes next.
Welcome to The Edge of NFT, the podcast created by Jeff Kelly, Ethan Janney, and Josh Krieger, featuring a variety of top-notch guests and other hosts like myself, Richard Carthon. It's another production of The Edge of Company, a quickly growing media ecosystem empowering the pioneers of Web3 tech and culture, and responsible for other groundbreaking endeavors like the Outer Edge LA Innovation Festival. Today's sponsored episode features Alec Salnikov, who is the Chief Strategy Officer and co-founder of Rarible, with experience in market analysis, decentralized finance, NFTs, and tokenomics. A former CTO of Coin Offering, he pioneered blockchain share offerings. He is also an OG of Edge of NFT. Listeners will remember Alex from episode 70. Meanwhile, we're going to have Jana Bertram, the head of strategy with Rari Foundation, and is the key architect in shaping the Web3 with Rarible. Leading collaborative initiatives with RARI DAO, she concentrates on governance and is fostering growth within Rarible protocol ecosystem. Drawing from a rich background in brand and product marketing for notable brands like Instagram, WeTransfer, Klarna, Budweiser, Heineken, Jana passionately advocates for a sustainable creator economy. For those who don't already know, Rarible stands out as a pioneer in the NFT space, offering a creator-centric community-governed platform. With the mission to make NFTs sustainable and accessible, creators can effortlessly mint and trade NFTs on their platform, unlocking a new era of digital assets. The Rari Foundation propels NFTs into a decentralized future by open sourcing the Rarible protocol. With 3,000 plus marketplaces active, RARI DAO growth, and new L3 integration, it sets the stage for NFTs to flourish across the blockchains. Happy to have you both here today. Alex, Jana, great to have you. Alex, great to have you back. You're back since 2021, where Rarible coined the term lazy minting, and you've been making waves ever since that collaboration with Adobe. So how have you been since then?
Nice. It's been a wild ride. I can imagine. 21 was 2 years ago, now almost 3 years ago, and that feels like a lifetime in the NFT space. We've been heads down. We've built a lot of great stuff. Would love to talk about this today. So glad to be back.
Oh, absolutely. And, excited to delve more into the Rari updates. And I first, would love to learn about how you got into Web3. But also for the long-term listeners, I want to learn more about you, Jana, and learning about how you got in as well. So Jana, we'll start with you on how you got into Web3. And then Alex, if you could give everyone a recap on how you got into Web3 also.
Awesome, thanks. Well, this is my Edge of NFT premiere. I was not here as an OG like Alex, but I'll try to catch up. So my journey to Web3 and the world of NFT was through the creative industry. So as you said in the intro, I've been working in marketing and creative brand marketing in my previous career, and I was working both on the agency side and the brand side. And throughout that career, I have always had a lot of artists and creators in my life, and I've seen a lot of them actually adopt Web3 as their means of living, first as a side gig and then actually as a full-time transition as well. So I've been witnessing this kind of like transition and this journey throughout basically a decade almost before I decided to embark on it by myself as well. I did, dip my toes in some, freelance part-time kind of things before coming on full-time. So what I do now is I'm the head of strategy at the Rari Foundation, and we work closely with Rarible, but we also like work on different things. So I think like the story of, why foundation and why Rari DAO, and we can like dive into it a little bit more. But the very top line is Alex and the team launched the NFT marketplace Rarible and decided to decentralize. The protocol layer, which is essentially, think about it as the backend or the underlying tech layer that the marketplace stands on, is what was decentralized and then handed over to the Rari DAO, the community, to govern. There's a treasury that comes with that, but there's a stack that comes with that as well. So that's essentially what Rarible is using, but also other ecosystem apps are using. So it has its own ecosystem. And then on top of that, because the vision of the foundation is to be propelling innovation in NFT space and really like helping NFTs scale and reach their potential in mass adoption. And our role is to be building decentralized NFT infrastructure tools to get us there. We, together with the community, so the foundation and the DAO, just got ambitious, and we decided to launch our own chain with royalties embedded on the node level. And that's kind of like what brings us to today, because we're working really close with Rarible as our go-to-market partner on bringing this chain to collectors, to creators, to experience. So today, actually, the time of the recording is the first day you can mint Rari Chain NFTs if you go on rarible.com and you claim the artist that's dropping today. But I don't want to get too much in the weeds before Alex refreshes us on his journey to Web3 as well.
For sure. And thank you for that background. Like, pretty awesome. And it makes sense why you were the person to help bring this to reality just with that background. So, and thank you for the teaser. We have so much to dive into in a second, but yes, let's kick it over to Alex just for a second and let everyone know how you first got into the Web3 space.
My journey in the Web3 space is quite long. By now, I started in 2012. I can imagine it's like 12 years by now. It was fairly casual. I was a college student, and we have college buddies, and you brainstorm with the college buddies how you're gonna take over the world. And that was one of the ideas. Like, there is a new money that is going to revolutionize the financial system of the world. So as like a young ambitious guys who were like, yeah, let's go for it. We started building startups right away in college and been consistently failing pretty much up until 2017, because we didn't know how to work, to put it simply. By 2017, we had some experience, had some first success, and that propelled into building the Rarible in the bear market. And more or less the idea was, for me personally, is that I want to build a sustainable business. The Web3 space is dominated by hypes and ups and downs, and want to have something that is based on the fundamentals. And there is not many things that are fundamental in the Web3 space. There are like payments, digital ownership, digital identity, digital items. That's how we pick the space. And I'm happy to be building, still learning how to work as well. Scaling the company is not easy, but with some relative success by now.
Yeah, no, I like it. And failing forward, I think, is a good part of it. You have to understand like what goes wrong, but also what goes well, and then keep using that energy forward into figuring out and picking up the pieces to making a more sustainable business and an ecosystem that can thrive. And in the process of doing that, you've done that. And the way that you've done it is kind of what Jana was teasing up earlier, was talking about how you've separated things like Rarible from the Rari Foundation. And can you also just give a brief overview of like the unique features from the Rarible creator-centric platform and how all of the different elements kind of work together synergistically?
So we started as a marketplace for creators. Okay, you're a creator, come to Rarible, mint an NFT, sell it. Okay, that was the all of it. at some point, we realized that there is the NFT market is wider than this, and we wanted to be more tailoring to more categories than only art. And there was a question, how do we do that? And one of the answers that was, okay, let's move down the level, the layer in the stack. Instead of just being a marketplace, let's build a protocol where the other marketplaces would be able to build their verticals on top of the same product. And this is the basis for how everything interconnects with Rari Foundation. So there is a decentralized part, which is the Rarible protocol, the smart contracts that allow you to swap NFTs. There is an indexer on top of that that knows everything about all NFTs and about all the sales. And then there's a marketplace, there's Rarible.com, which is a commercial enterprise built on top of that protocol. And that's the relationship between our companies, where the Rari Foundation, we're transferring the rights to the Rarible protocol, to the Rari Foundation, so that the community can fully govern this and be neutral, incredibly neutral, to invite other builders to build on top of that while we're building on top of Ethereum, because it's neutral, because you know that it's decentralized, it's governed in a very robust way, that it's safe to build on top of that, right? That's the whole idea behind decentralizing the protocol and allowing other people to build on top of this. So that's the relationship between our companies, and we have so many more interesting questions. I'm happy to dive deeper into that one.
I think that's a really great quick overview before we start diving into the rest of this. And one of the things that you brought up is it being decentralized and being able to be built in other ways. And I want to actually point this over to Jana and say congratulations for the successful launch of Rari Chain Mainnet on Arbitrum. With being able to do something and setting that up, what's some of the early feedback that you received from the community of creators, and what features are you most excited about?
Thanks. Yeah, it's been quite a whirlwind launching a blockchain, and then on the heels of that mainnet launch, going directly into campaigning with creators to be dropping their art and minting via Rarible, but on the Rari chain. So I think, first of all, like, it was great to receive all this community support in bringing this idea forward, right? And then approaching different ecosystems, having conversations around how our collaboration could actually look, and then selecting the one that we feel like is the best partner for where we are and for what we need. When we started talking to the creators, we were talking to creators, we were talking to collectors, we were talking to builders, like all the different users of the chain, right? And we were collecting feedback early on that helped us shape the features, helped us shape the narrative, helped us shape like how we can position ourselves as a useful tool, and how we can also evolve to be a more useful tool. When it comes to creators specifically, I think the one thing that just like validated our intuition that royalties is the angle to go with, the kind of response we were getting from the creator community every time we talked about royalties enforcement was really positively and overwhelmingly yes, to the degree where I was like looking for that creator who's like, no, I don't really care so much for enforced royalties. Like, we didn't really like find those kind of creators. I think, creators will always find different types of ways to monetize, and they might not be necessarily dependent just on the royalty piece, right? They're like smart business people across all sorts of professions. So if you're a smart business person and a creator on top of that, you will understand how to monetize across different kind of tools in Web3. But I think that royalty piece kept coming back as something that feels like the most important part of that compensation to be sustainable, because it does allow the creators to be planning a little bit more long term. It does allow them to be adopting other strategies, such as low price at mint, but then hoping for resale value, generating revenue for the long term, and so on. So I think that piece was always something that we got really positive feedback on, and I think it was again proven when we were looking for the first 10 inaugural artists to drop their art on Rari Chain in this campaign that launched just today. And I think when listeners and viewers will tune in into this episode, we'll be halfway through the campaign. So it essentially runs Monday to Friday, week of January 29th, and then February 5th. And every day for 24 hours, you are able to mint a different artist in an open edition style. Some of them are free mint, some of them have a little bit of payment. None of them are priced high though. And that's really like a fun way to bring collectors into experimenting with what minting an NFT on Rari Chain feels like, what is the UX, and then also, what does the bridge look like, and then with that, starting to transact, because the chain is integrated in Rarible.com. So you will be able to trade your NFTs after you minted them on that platform as well. So that's kind of like the genesis for the campaign. But when we started having conversations with the different artists, I kind of feel like my job sometimes feels like it's way too easy, because you get on a call with an artist and they say, yes, I'm in. And I did not expect that. There were maybe like a couple of instances where the artists were like, oh, like logistically, the timing, it doesn't work, but like they want to work with us in the future, which I take as a very positive sign. And the first drop that is happening right now, I actually haven't checked the number of mints in the past few hours, but as of like 3 hours ago, it was 2,000 mints for something that had still like 18 hours left to go on the 24-hour mint. So it just is a testament that, there is a lot of excitement behind supporting royalties, supporting the artists in adopting new chains and new NFTs out there. So I feel like it's a really good start. And I'm very curious to see where we're going to be when this episode airs, because we're going to be halfway through these drops. We have really fun names lined up for that 10 by Rari campaign. So today was Jimena Buena Vida. Tomorrow it's Ed Balloon. We have names like Amber Victoria, ALIENQUEEN. And then we also have different kind of artists. I'm not going to be naming all 10 of them, but essentially they all come from different geographies, different avenues of life. They have different kind of craft forms. So I think it's also fun to be collecting those NFTs as your collection, because the cohort of these artists is curated by curators called Aniko and Justin, who have helped us assemble this group in a way that if you want to put it on your wall, it actually is going to be a beautiful gallery wall. So very excited about this campaign and these mints being live.
I agree, and I'm actually gonna spend a little bit more time here in a second. But Jana, a couple of things that you brought up that I just want to reemphasize, and the royalty piece. I think we've seen from some of your competitors in trying to buck that system how that didn't work, and how clearly communities like, hey, we want this, and Rari stood by that, and I think that's another reason why people love doing their launches here, and it's another reason why you're seeing the success that's already initially happening. So I'm not too surprised by that piece. But one of the other sides of this that I think is really important, and why people need to go see what's happening over there, is just how involved the community is. So Alex, Jana just brought up the 10 bar Rari, which is happening, over the course of the 10 days that she just brought up. But how is the Rari Foundation planning to engage with the community, and what are the types of activities and events that people should be looking out for right now?
So I can add that from the foundation side, and then Alex can also take it from the Rarible side. But essentially, like on the foundation front, I think we're kind of like entering uncharted territory, right? The foundation / DAO launched the blockchain, but the blockchain you get to experience through the applications that adopt it, right? And that's where the partnership with Rarible is important, because without the apps, you have a naked blockchain and you can't really activate the community around it, right? So that's where that partnership comes in place. So what we can be doing is we can be ideating further versions of campaigns with Rarible or with new partners that will adopt the chain and will enter the ecosystem. But then we can also, be working side by side with developers in shaping new experiences and new ways to, experience either NFTs or even, art generation on chain. So I think it's really exciting. And, the partnership with Rarible that we have as our go-to-market partner here is really important, right? Because to your point, that's where the community is. That's where also a lot of the brand reputation is. That's where that interaction is happening.
I think back when we had this first podcast in 2021, it was quite clear already that the Ethereum mainnet is not really well positioned for the NFTs. The artists that onboarded to Rarible they didn't know anything about Web3 at first, and that was a revelation for them. Okay, I can put my digital art here, I can sell it, I can earn royalties in perpetuity based on that, and I can have this digital ownership over my platform. And then that very quickly that escalated into, I need to pay $100 every time I click a button. I don't like Web3. It's not cool. And we've jumped on the multi-chain thesis very early in 2021. We were the first marketplace that support multiple at once. We started with Flow, with Thesis, and we learned a lot. We learned that it's still hard sometimes to support multiple at once because you need to have different wallets. You need to move money from one place to another. And finally, with adoption of layer 2s and now layer 3s, our initial vision comes to fruition, because to me, is also as an engineer, at some point, it was very clear that it is possible to have the blockchain, the chain that would just work instantly. You just click a button and the transaction confirmed. And it is exactly what Rari Chain experience gives you today. When you click mint that drop, it shows in a second that, okay, you have it. It's done. You minted that item. So super happy. It's easy to move money from Ethereum. You only need to move it once for multiple drops, and just see the results. It's a $20 mint, and there is 2.3 thousand mints already, which gives you like what, $46,000. It's a massive success for the artist, while it's very democratic for the participants. Every participant just spent $20. It's not the auction that ran to 45,000 in the end, where then only one item was sold. And in my mind, that's the true vision for the NFTs, to reach the world when it's a lower cost item, affordable, you can enjoy it. There's multiple editions. It's easy to use. You don't need to spend a lot of time on the gas, a lot of money on the gas. So I'm super happy, and we'll double down on what Jana said, that you experience the chain through the partners. The chain gives you the block space, and the block space is what really that is, just a piece of data that we all agree is the same. We all can trust. Multiple apps can rely on it, on the ownership. So super happy to be one of the first, not actually the first, to support. There is a set of amazing partners that already support the chain. So be one of the first partners to support the chain and kickstart the ecosystem. Everything's great.
Yeah, that's awesome. And what I want to dive into, what you just said, a little bit deeper is how economical being able to do this is. The ease of use, the onboarding for this is easier, the affordability and the access. Because as communities are building and growing, they want to be able to share it, and they want to be able to do it in a way that can reach mass and can have that experience that they're having with their community be pretty seamless. And I know that you guys have been focused on that, and that's why the community has been responding as positively as they have. But you recently brought up the Rari chain, and I actually want to ask Jana this, which is, what notable successes or challenges have you observed through the early adoption phase of the Rari chain, and how they influence the ongoing strategies that you have for fostering that community engagement?
So we launched Mainnet 5 days ago. So it's very, very, very recent. Our testnet phase wasn't that long. It was only about a couple months. So we announced testnet November 30th. We launched Mainnet on January 24th. So I feel like we're probably still to meet our major challenges. I think you have the regular, partner integration flows where you're just testing everything, making sure that everything works fine. But apart from that, I don't think that we have entered any proper roadblocks. But I think I mentioned it in the beginning that, we do want to be working with our community to make the chain useful to them. So the idea there is that we are actively listening. We want to hear feedback from users, whether it's developers, collectors, creators, in what they find to be useful, what they find to be frustrating, any kind of suggestions, ideas, because all of this will be input for us as we are working with our external technical team who build the chain, on iterating on its features and functionalities, because we want to make sure that this is something that the community will find useful in the long run, and we don't feel like we ship it and it's done. It's something that we will be evolving and iterating on over time.
Oh, definitely. And again, getting to mainnet, like you said, it's a huge undertaking. It's a huge challenge, and you guys have done it. So congratulations on that again. But something I also want to look into just a little bit more is Rari Foundation's native token, Rari, or Rari. And it's the key element of the ecosystem. So how does Rari contribute to the governance and overall sustainability of the entire foundation?
So you're correct. It's a governance token, right? It's a token that you don't use for purchasing goods and services. It's not a token that you use for paying gas. It's purely a governance token. So with that, it provides you with a voice and decision-making power in the Rari DAO and in the community. So you essentially go and lock the token, which converts it into the Rari model, and that is used for a token-weighted voting in our on-chain governance. So everything that the community votes on is binding, because as the vote is happening on-chain, especially when it's something that is about moving money from the treasury, or it's about touching the smart contracts that are under the governance, or under the community governance, all of that gets to be executed when the vote goes through. So nobody actually interferes with it. Everything is happening on chain. So having that decision-making power is actually quite important, and it's actually quite big, right? Because then you are one of those voices who get to decide on how the funds of the treasury are spent, what ecosystem growth means, what initiatives you feel like are valuable to be sponsoring. And at the same time, you can be also impacting the product, right? By suggesting improvements, by suggesting additions, by suggesting changes of parameters as well. So it's actually pretty important for the governance to be robust, to be mature. But the token gives you that kind of exposure to making these impactful decisions. And it gives you the voice in the community to be shaping what that ecosystem growth looks like.
And I think that's one of the beautiful parts of Web3 is really being able to have a voice, have an opinion as the future of the community that you're helping to be involved with, and also the more that you're able to step up and communicate, the more you can be involved with the roadmap forward. And speaking on the roadmap forward, Alex, so much has happened in the last 3 years. We're already talking about a ton that is going on currently between Rari, the foundation, this drop happening, and so much more. But looking ahead, what developments can we anticipate in the Rarible ecosystem, and how does it align with your broader goals for all of Web3?
Right, that's a great question, and we do have a lot of things that are in works, and we have even more things that will be done. So let me try to unpack this. Our overall vision and then mission for the space is that we want everyone on the planet to be able to experience digital ownership in an easy and democratic way, right? We are seeing the massive rates of wallet adoption. We are seeing the new generation of chains, layer 2s, layer 3s, other layer 1s that are next generation to propel. And it's quite clear by now that the block space will be abundant tomorrow, right? There will be a lot of ways to store your NFTs on chain, and that the next generation of applications, as I said, will be instant. You just click a button and it all works. In order to bring that vision to the applications, we need to solve the one very fundamental thing, which is the indexing of all the data that exists on the blockchain. So even the simple question of which NFTs do I own includes a lot of work behind the scenes for an app to be able to answer that, because you don't store all your NFTs in one place. They are all stored in the different smart contracts in like a thin layer, like bread, like a butter on the bread across the whole blockchain. In order to answer which NFTs they own, you need to read the whole blockchain and it's all of the things that they own, and then combine them into the one answer and give it to the user. Right? It's a bit difficult, a bit technical, but you need to do that very quickly, because imagine you have somebody else who is buying the same item right now in another browser tab. So once that happens, you need to know that this item is no longer available on sale. So building real-time indexer that allows you to understand what happens in the blockchain is the core tech of Rarible. And most of the products that we currently have, they utilize this power. The Rarible main marketplace that shows you all your NFTs you own, all NFTs that are on sale, even on other marketplaces. It's Rarible X, which is a business B2B SaaS that allows anybody who wants to build a marketplace to be able to just buy a marketplace, right? A white label marketplace for their business. It's a Rarible API that allows you to build an app. All of these products, they use this underlying tech. And again, the big thing that we're trying to solve is the UX. The block space is going to be abundant, but the UX is still not there. It's still hard to get a wallet. It's still hard to bridge assets. It's still hard to get on-ramped. It's still hard to understand that Ethereum exists on Rari Chain, or Ethereum exists on Arbitrum, or Ethereum exists on layer 1. How do I, as a consumer, wrap my head around that? So I think this would be the big part of the next several years of the development of Rarible products, into how do we bring all of these several products that we have into the level that is very digestible for the consumer adoption. We need consumer to be able to register, top up, and enjoy the world of Web3 when you have your identity that is truly yours, and to have a breakout app that can bring the next 100 million users into this space. So that's the big mission towards which we're building.
Yeah, I love it. And as simply as you are helping to explain how you're trying to make this complex problem as simple as possible, the path to getting there is extremely challenging. And there's bumps in the road, and there are, for 10 steps for an end purpose, how do you cut that down to 3? How do you cut that down to 4? And there's a lot of work and energy that goes into that, but you are going after it. You're figuring that out, and you're creating that ecosystem and that application that's going to be able to help onboard and bridge that next 100 million that you're talking about. So I'm really excited about what you are building and how all of this is all playing together. I'm pretty sure our audience is going to be pretty hyped about this too. But I'm personally more excited to learn more about each of you individually. And so we're getting ready to start our next segment, which is called Edge Quick Hitters.
NFTLA returns as an inclusive week of community events throughout LA, celebrating the outer edge of innovation.
Builders be building.
There's so much energy colliding around gaming, AI, generative art, the metaverse, decentralized social, and the future of entertainment.
If you want to be in the mix, including the official free NFTLA celebration, visit outeredge.live to subscribe for your updates and RSVP. Edge Quick Hitters are a fun and quick way to get to know you a little bit better. There are 10 questions, and we're looking for just a single or few word answer response. But feel free to expand if you get the urge. Are you both ready? All right, Jana, we'll start with you first. What is the first thing you remember ever purchasing in your life?
Oh, My God, purchasing ever in my life must have been some sort of candy. Must have been chewing gum or something like that, with my favorite sticker, my favorite hand tattoo.
Great response. I think that was mine as well. My very first thing was some Skittles, I believe. So, how about you, Alex? What was the first thing you ever purchased in your life?
I honestly don't remember. One thing that just came to my mind was the external battery for my audio player, the cassette audio player. I was quite young, but it probably wasn't the first. It's just something that came up into my mind.
Yeah, I like it. Having external batteries to give it some more juice. How about on the flip side, Alex? What is the first thing you remember selling in your life?
That was pears. I got to our backyard with my father and we collected some pears. I went to the farmers market. That's the only market where I grew up, and I was selling them in like a cent per one. That was the beginning of entrepreneurial journey for me.
I was gonna say you had the entrepreneurial juices flowing from day one. So, how about you, Jana? What was the first thing you sold?
I think that must have been like a fair from my art school, like when I was in elementary school. And then we were selling to adults our little craft creations that those tiny hands made, and I was making a pitch for every single piece being a unique art that they will not be able to get their hands on again. So that memory stuck with me, because that adult was like, you can sell, like in my native tongue we have a saying, you can sell a one-eyed cow. So that was my first selling experience.
Hey, full circle. Now you're selling art to other people, right? So
Exactly.
it was meant to be. So next question for you, Jana. What is the most recent thing you purchased?
Oh my God, it's Amazon. Amazon rules my life. So it was something on Amazon for sure. And it was probably something very unexciting, like, trash liners. Like, I swear, there's like that's the kind of shopping. Or it might have been some kitchen hardware. Because we're doing a renovation right now. It's one of the two. It's very basic.
Nah, I got you. Amazon is my wife's best friend too. So what about you, Alex? What was the most recent thing you purchased?
It's funny. Recently, there's been a Wall Street Journal headline that American economy is resilient thanks to the mighty American consumer, and I almost wanted to tweet that and said and to say that I paid my fair share to this. I definitely buy a lot of things. Just like I don't understand how much stuff I'm buying. But the most recent of them was the actual NFT. I bought ours today, drop for $20. I bought several of them because I was testing, because I'm excited about the art. I also loaded up my Bitcoin wallet to maybe make a purchase tomorrow. I haven't decided that yet about the Quantum Cats mint, which is pretty cool. Maybe I'll buy that one, maybe not. I don't know. It's Quantum Cat.
Yeah, did you? I have a couple of friends that did one of those wild videos to like get on the whitelist. Did you do any of that stuff?
I'm not on the
Gotcha.
white list.
All good. But yeah, hey, not only are you talking about what's going on, but you're also participating. So we love to see that. What is the most recent thing that you sold? We'll start with you, Alex.
Probably a Rarible X marketplace. A marketplace to somebody. I'm not sure. I obviously can't talk about yet about the most recent sale, but that was for sure one of them.
Nice. How about you, Jana?
I'm going to respond in a similar vein, because I'm basically selling the chain on a day-to-day basis to users, to artists, but also to, Arbitrum Foundation, who actually did enable the realization of this vision by granting us a grant. So different kind of sale, but still a sale.
Right. Well, love to see it. Jana, what would you consider your most prized possession?
I'm a parent, so that's a very simple answer. My kid.
Yep, great answer.
Although I have to say she's not mine alone, and I don't really possess human beings, but you get the gist.
Yep, definitely get it. How about you, Alex?
That's an interesting question. Over the course of the years, I've been answering to that question very straightforward. I've been a digital nomad, and out of all the things that I own, I only own a suitcase, and most of my precious possessions were digital. I would still say that most of my precious possessions is crypto, right? That's like my net worth. It gives me ultimate personal freedom, come to any country that I want, be free. That's definitely one of the greatest things that happened to me in the world, and that I feel so grateful to.
Yeah, I like that a lot. And I feel like that comes truly from like the digital nomad crypto heart of responses. So that's a good one. Another question for you, Alex. If you could buy anything in the world, digital, physical, service, experience, etc., that's currently for sale, what would you purchase?
That's a hard one. Like more crypto, right? But that would be kind of dumb answer. Uh, very hard to tell. Very hard to tell. I almost feel like I already like bought most of the things that I needed. So that's very ongoing stuff. Maybe a piece of art, really something really precious would be nice.
Okay. What do you have an artist in mind?
No, I usually go with the full.
Okay.
Maybe a CryptoPunk would be a good one.
Okay, that's a good one.
I don't know.
How about you, Jana?
Depends whether I have to use my funds or not. If I use my funds, that brings the bar down. But definitely keeping my eyes on for tomorrow's mint, because just like Alex minted the drop of today, I did too, and I'm set out to collect the whole 10 by Rari
Oh,
collection.
we're talking unlimited funds. You can get anything right now. What is
With
that?
unlimited funds, I would really like, just as I was talking about, like doing that elementary music art school. I would love to like run a program like that in Brooklyn. Give me a nice historical building, and then we'll teach the kids all about arts and NFTs.
That's so cool. And that's the first
I
I've
didn't know.
heard of something like that.
I didn't know we were speaking unlimited funds.
Yeah, Alex, go ahead. You can change your answer. Unlimited funds, whatever you want.
I would buy a country.
Ooh,
I wanna
that's
have
a
a country.
first. That's pretty cool. Do you have a country in mind?
Anyone, just like I would turn it into digital nomad paradise, give passports to all the crypto holders. They turn it into network state to be the first piece of land that is owned by the network state.
Gotcha. That's a cool one. I like that one a lot. And Alex, if you could pass on one of your personality traits to the next generation, what would it be?
Oh, it's a hard one. Well, I don't know. It's not a very humble thing to say, but I think I'm smart, and that's probably the most important part that I value in myself. And I think that would be great to pass it to the next generation.
Yeah, intelligence is a great thing to pass on. Jana, how about yourself?
So the thing I would like to pass on, and I'm hopefully passing it on to my peers already and not just to the next generation, because I feel like everybody should be adopting that, is like work through rejection and work through hearing no, and be opening to like pivoting, changing, adapting, and still like pursuing your vision.
I like that a lot. I feel like we don't hear no enough as we're going through school and childhood into young adulthood, and then we get hit with the real world, and then you don't really know how to deal with it, and people don't necessarily know how to work through that. So I think that is a great answer. But I'm going to ask you on the flip side of that, Jana, if you could eliminate one of your personality traits for the next generation, what would that be?
That's a funny one. I don't know. There's a bunch of things I've been working on as a grown up, and one of them is being able to be like realistic in the amount that I should be biting and I should be managing, and I should like realistically expect myself and promise to others that I will deliver. I feel like I've improved a lot.
Oh,
That's
that's good.
definitely something I wasn't born with.
Yeah, that's an awesome one. How about you, Alex?
It's a hard one. again, multiple things I'm working on. If I try to pick the main one, somehow it comes to my mind something about the positive mindset that I wouldn't say that I'm super positive person. I mean, I'm smiling here on the podcast, of course, and stuff like that. But I feel like my life has been propelled by the like negative motivation that I need to do something, and if I don't, then something bad would happen. And it's very effective. You're like running as fast as you can, but it's not super pleasing. I think just I'm working a lot on transferring that to like positive motivation, being like mission driven, like from the state that everything is good. I just want something good to happen.
Yeah, I think that's a good one. A lot of us have to endure negativity and not getting that positive reinforcement for things. But it can drive people forward into success, but it doesn't mean it's sustainable or that it's necessarily the ideal outcome for what you want. So I think that's a cool one. I don't think I've heard that one before on the show. So thanks for sharing that. So, Alex, right after right before the show, what did you do before joining us on the podcast?
My day is the same here. I like 10 calls every day with team internally, externally. So I was in the meeting that I ran late from. That's as good as it can be every time.
I got you. How about you, Jana?
I recorded a podcast before this podcast.
Hey, the podcast train going. So what about what are you going to do after this podcast, Jana?
Oh, it's going to be 6 p.m. New York time. I'm going to go and fix myself dinner.
Nice. Well, hope you enjoy a good meal. How about you, Alex?
I'm trying to be consistent with sport because that's what one of the things that taught me in crypto. You want to have a routine. You want to be consistent. This trading ups and downs, it screws your mental health very quickly. So I'm trying. So I'll try to go and run.
Nice. That'll be a good one. Well, we always like to finish with a bonus question. And so this one might be a little difficult, but going to pose it anyway. Of all the artists featured on your 10 by Rari series, which art style is your favorite and why? We'll start with you, Jana.
Well, I literally said I'm going to collect all 10 of them because they're going to make a great gallery wall. You can't have a favorite child. It's just not how it works. You need to love them all.
Fair enough. How about you, Alex?
Yeah, Jana doesn't have a luxury. She's been working very closely with the artists. I've been a little bit more distant from that, so I can pick a favorite, and I think I'll go with the Amber Vittoria. It's very distinct style. It's very easy to remember. Rainbows, geometry. I love geometry as an engineer by background, so that would be my favorite. But by no means. I still want to make a disclaimer, right? That even picking a favorite, I love all of them.
Right.
And I'm definitely connecting all of them. Yes.
Definitely. Well, it's been great getting to learn more about each of you. As we kind of wrap up the show, I always want to pause for a moment to see if either of you would like to give any shout outs. So Jana, I'm gonna pass the mic to you first. Any particular people within your ecosystem that you'd like to give a quick shout out to?
Thanks. Well, definitely Arbitrum, right? I mentioned we received a grant from them, but whether it was collaboration with the foundation, but also with the community, because thanks to our previous proposals, we had strong relationships with key members of the community that really, also helped us make the decision to go with Arbitrum as our tech stack, and of course, Off-Chain Labs, that then supported us through the tech integration that we have carried out with an external team called Caldera. So definitely, these would be my shout outs because they are the team and the people and the community behind making this chain happen. And of course, our own Rari DAO.
Awesome. Great shout outs. How about you, Alex?
Literally everyone who adopted the Rari Chain, great stuff. It was a short timeline, needed to be quick. So Third Web, Layer 0, all the guys, Caldera, obviously, that helped to bring that forward. Decent is a bridge. So, and of course the community, right? The Rari Foundation delegates that has made this true, because the governing is also a hard part of that. So all the shout out to all the delegates that made this true.
Awesome. Well, we all appreciate all of those shout outs. And as we kind of move forward, for everyone listening to the show today, where can they go to learn more about the projects you're working on, and what are some of the social channels as well that they can go and follow what's happening?
So for the chain, the URL is rarichain.org. You can go there. It's a hub that links you out to any kind of resources you need, whether you're a creator, whether you're a developer, whether you're a collector. You can also follow Rari Chain on X @Rari Chain. And then for everything to do with the foundation, governance, our website is rari.foundation, or X profile is @Rari Foundation. You can also join our Discords to engage in more deeper community conversation, and join our community calls and really learn more about what we're doing with the delegates.
Awesome. Oh, we definitely appreciate that. For everyone listening, we've reached the outer limit of Edge of NFT for today. Thanks for exploring with us. We've got space for more adventures on the Starship, so invite your friends and recruit some cool strangers that will make this journey all so much better. How? If you're listening, go to Spotify or iTunes right now, rate us, and say something awesome. If you're watching this on YouTube, hit the subscribe button and pass this episode on to the next friend or two. Lastly, be sure to tune in to the next time to learn more about Web3 content. And thanks again for sharing this time with us today.
The views and opinions expressed on Edge of NFT reflect solely those views and opinions of the show hosts and its guests. Please make sure to do your own research. Our show is not financial advice. You understand that you are using any and all information available on or through this podcast at your own risk. Whenever making financial decisions, we recommend doing your own research and talking to your accountant for financial advice. From time to time, we may feature sponsored content on the show for which we receive value, and we may share links for which we receive a commission if you make a purchase through one of those links. Refer to our website, www.edgeofnft.com, for our full disclaimer, terms and conditions, and privacy policy.